be live early.
Excellent. Always good to be live. Yeah, I can see it now.
Why am I still in Discord channel?
Leave the Discord.
Yeah, I did. We good. Oh my god. I totally forgot about this problem that we were having last week. Remember how I could freeze you on stream?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think I figured out a workaround though, so I think we're good.
Coll. Excellent.
I think we're good. Now I can
I've
actually
got Geo,
see.
Ishtob in the chat already.
Yeah. Geo says #1. Very nice. Very nice.
Number 2. I thought it was Hadron version 3.
Oh, it's behind the version. Titan with the early sub. Thank you, sir.
Wow. Right at the beginning of the show. 4 months. Nice.
Yeah, the show hasn't even started yet officially. This is just our chill time.
Brian, I've just noticed as well the text for when people have donated bits or subbed, it goes behind the resub banner bar in the box.
Wait. Oh. I think I know what you mean. It's like the text that when it like falls into the jar.
Yeah, the scrolling text when it falls into the jar, it goes beneath the yeah.
Okay, so you're saying I should have it over the sub and donated bit list, the event list.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, I'll swap those around so that they should be the opposite layer now. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll try it.
Tough to have everything.
I'll drop bits.
I'm sure someone will sub or donate some bits at some point during the stream, and we can look at it then.
We can test it. Yeah, cool. And Titan says he's been chilling here for the last 10ish minutes. Oh well, welcome, dude. We've been sat chatting for about 15, so we could have come live earlier on and spoke to you, but hey.
Yeah. We try to just make sure everything is working.
And we've got Met Advice Guy representing the EU crew. Hey man, good to see you.
The EU crew.
EU crew at 2 AM in the morning.
That's dedication.
Mm-hmm.
If it makes you feel any better, I'll still be up at 2 AM.
I've got to be up at 5:30 this morning as well. So,
well,
I may not be going to bed.
Ouch! Don't you work from home on Friday?
Yeah, but I've got some personal stuff that I need to do before I start work. So yeah.
Yeesh, brutal. Oh, all right. ISO returns donated bits. Thank you very much for that 100 bits. We see the text on screen. Okay, so I think it's over the event list now. I think it's what it looked like. I'm not sure which looks better.
Yeah, I think we need to come up with a better solution for next week, maybe.
Well, the problem is the so the banner text that flies across is part of the tip jar, and you can't. Like, you can move the entire thing, but you can't move where the text is within the context of the tip jar itself.
Okay. Something to have a look at and have a think about.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. This is why we're early. to solve problems like this. Danish time. Wow.
Yeah, Danish time. Yeah, they're an hour ahead of me even. Yeah.
People from all over the world. Volume is pretty high. Both of our volumes, or just one of us? If we're having any kind of audio inconsistencies, please let us know. I can adjust all that before the show.
Oh, they're talking in Dutch now. I don't know what's going on there.
My Dutch isn't nearly as good as it used to be, so.
Yeah. Ordering pizza. Apparently I'm a little bit louder than you are.
Apparently both of us are. I'm gonna take us down a little bit.
Cool.
I'm gonna lower myself by 5, and I'm gonna lower you by 7-ish.
Right.
All right. Let us know how that is, guys.
Yeah. Let us know how the voices are now. If they're too high.
Hopefully that should be a little bit better.
Oh, it's Danish, not Dutch. Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Oh,
ignorant Englishman.
Well, my Danish is way better than my Dutch, thankfully. Jay is still a little louder. Okay.
Interesting. Oh, but hey, Talisman, thanks for being on, dude. We appreciate your support. I
just lowered Jay a little bit more, so.
Ooh, yeah. Tefrom's asking if I'm from the Huddersfield area. Do you know what? I'm actually not far from Huddersfield. I'm at Halifax, so maybe about 25 minutes drive from Huddersfield, about 15 miles, something like that.
Greetings to you as well, Talisman. Don't lower Jay, raise Brian. Oh, whoops.
There we go. Get up on my level, Brian. Come on, what are you playing at?
I'll take you back to -7, and I'll go up to -2.5. How's that, guys? Hopefully that's a little bit better. OBS likes to change around all of my settings when it's not open, so I kind of have to redo a lot of stuff before each stream.
Absolutely.
Muffin Smasher. Great name, by the way. Just subbed with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much for that.
Tefrom's saying he's got friends from Huddersfield. That's really not a bad guess, dude. From the whole of the UK, you're within, 20-mile radius. That's pretty good.
Calm Data 55 is asking if the TGR Alice acrylic is worth the effort. I don't have one. Do you have one, Jay?
I'd say try it. Why not? I wouldn't imagine it's fairly inexpensive compared to an aluminium Alice. So yeah, go for it.
Subnet with a tier 1 sub 5 months in a row. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir Nathan Kim is also in the house. That's right. Remember I knighted him a couple weeks ago?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, you were an honorary Brit.
I have that power. Yeah. I used all the British power I could muster.
Absolutely.
Still kind of loud, IMO. Oh, boy.
Turn down your volume on your PC, guys. I mean, I'm joking. Luna is saying, will I ever grow a majestic beard like Brian? Do you know what? My beard was actually in full effect earlier on this week, and I shaved it off and just trimmed it right down.
I just turned us both down a little bit more. Hopefully that'll get going. If a couple people are saying it's too loud, it probably is too loud. I don't like my beard. I don't like the way it grows on this particular side, so I'll probably trim it up pretty soon.
Okay. Yours, I think your beard goes down your neck further than mine as well. Mine doesn't grow that far down.
Yeah, I'm a true neck beard. Brexit won't affect me, says Nathan.
Brexit actually revokes all knighthoods, so sorry, Mr. Kim.
Alright, this is good, volume is good for me, sounds fine. Okay, so people are...
Cool. Excellent.
People are hearing it well now, thank you. Very nice. It's Undone with a tier 1 sub 4 months in a row. Thank you, sir. Let's go, boys.
Yeah.
Alright, has the bot pinged the Discord? Can we officially start yet?
Yes, I believe it has. Yeah, it's pinged.
Oh, wow. The bot was quick today. Nice. Very, very nice. Alright, well, let's get this party started. I'm going to roll the intro real quick. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Top Clack. I am your host, Quakums, here with my co-host, Jay. It is January 31st, 2019, and we're here to talk about some keyboards, believe it or not. We have a ridiculously full news doc today, so we're going to try to get through it in a timely fashion. So we appreciate your cooperation and patience.
Yeah, it's a fully packed news document. I think there's something like 26 items this week, so it's
up there, guys. A lot of stuff happened this week. A lot of things, a lot of interest checks, a lot of group buys happening. This is going to be one of the fullest news docs we've ever had. And I know I say that like every other week, but that's because it's usually true.
It's just because you're punishing me. You want me to stay up all night and do all night
yeah.
instead of actually getting some sleep.
Yeah, the trick is to just, keep Jay from sleeping, and we will be good. Another 3-hour stream? Gosh, I hope not. We're gonna try to nail this out in 2 hours, but we'll see how that goes. Talisman gifts a tier 1 sub to Tefram. This is 26th gift sub. Very nice. Thank you very much, sir.
Wow. Yeah, thank you, Talisman. We really appreciate your support, dude.
Very nice.
Nathan thinks we should do 4 hours.
4 hours? How about not? I'm going to be build streaming tomorrow. That could go long depending on how many builds I plan on doing, but we try to keep the show. Builds. Yeah, I'm definitely doing a Polycarb Singa. Nice. And if time permits, I might also do the TMO50. So we'll see how that goes. 24-hour stream. That's coming soon.
Yes,
soon. We're going to be doing that soon.
We have started talking about it properly and started planning it now as well.
Yeah, so we're going to be setting up kind of a schedule for it. It's going to be fun. 24-hour news stream? That'd be ridiculous. There isn't enough news.
Yeah, we couldn't do that. Thockbot with the Twitch Prime sub 3 months in a row. Thank you very much. Tier 3 love for you guys. Oh, thanks, man.
Oh, nice. Thank you, sir. 24-hour stream. Do you want to be part of the 24-hour stream, Nathan? Maybe we should do like a charity. Should we do it like a charity stream? That's usually what people do 24-hour streams, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh man. But we should try to keep it keyboard themed. Like maybe donate it to like QMK or something. That could be interesting.
Yeah. That'd be really interesting. Actually, do something for the community and kind of give back. Yeah, I like that.
Talisman donates 1 bit and then he donates 1,111 bits. So thank you for that.
He did that to get to 30,000 bits exactly. That's exactly why he did that.
Oh my gosh. Nice.
He was going to be one short. So well played there, Sarah. I like that. I do like that.
Also, Tectonic Plate and J-Shuff both just resubbed as well. Thank you very much, guys. So let's do a little mail call because both of us got a few things in this week, and we can quickly show off a few of the fun stuff that we got. If you want to start us out, Jay.
You want me to go first? All right, okay.
Yeah,
well, first thing I got was what I built last week on stream for myself, which is my JER Mini. So I'm showing that off on camera now. I'm absolutely in love with this board. It's fantastic. If you didn't watch the build stream last Sunday, go check it out. I also got some meme caps. I bought myself some pudding caps because they were $8 or £8 or whatever, something like that on Amazon. So whilst it was there, Amazon recommended them for me. So I picked those up as well. My latest artisan purchase came in, which is a Murray, the Creamsicle Murray, which is kind of cute and kind of pretty. What else did I get? I also got some more cables off of Cable Car Designs, some nice coily boys with multiple ends. I've actually got, so these have got Limo connectors on, which are really nice, and I've got 2 ends for USB-C and USB Mini. The idea being that I'll never have to change my cable, I can just swap the ends out now. And then finally, the last thing I got this week, will just be really quick, is GMK Space Cadet. There we go.
I'm going to need you to say coily boys for me one more time, Jay.
It's curly boys.
Oh, curly boys. I thought you said coily boys.
Coily.
I hope you said coily, because that's way better.
Coily.
Way better.
Yeah,
all right.
Coily boys.
Ayameru says, you should do a 24-hour stream and invite some people in for a chat along the way. Get some other guests in. That's the plan.
Yep.
Because we're definitely... Yeah, we're going to do a Top Clack 24-hour stream. But we're kind of we're gonna schedule it a bit, so like maybe every couple hours there's like new things going on. That way it's not just the same thing for like 24 hours straight. We'll mix it up a little bit. We'll bring on some people. We'll talk about various things, have discussions. We'll build some stuff. Maybe we'll do some news. Whatever. We're still working that out. So that is coming soonish. We're still in the planning phase. Anyways, back to the mail call here. I got a few things in the mail. Got a nice care package from Jay with some snacks that I've already begun eating and I forgot to grab. But amongst...
I will note on this, Brian, that I'm still waiting for my care package from you.
Okay, well, let's forget about that for right now. And talk about some of the worst switches I've ever used in my life. So we got some Arctos samples in here, and I've tried a few of them of the various weights, and I will not be putting these in a board because I do not like these. Moving on to something I do like, though. We got the T60 sample here. This version it's tray mount, but it's built with 5mm polycarb plate and some stock cherry MX blacks. Nothing too fancy there, but the actual quality on the T60 is quite nice. Honestly, the anodization is really, really clean. It's actually pretty darn hefty for just being a simple tray mount with no weight. It's kind of surprising, actually. It looks and feels really, really good. So I'm gonna be putting some caps on this to test it out. I'll probably also swap out this configuration and put something that isn't a 5mm plate in here, just so I can test out to see how that is. And that's gonna be good times as well. I'll be working on that. And the most fun thing I think I received is also something to make Jay jealous.
Oh man, so don't show me this.
I got my TMO 50 just the other day. Pretty nice. Got the polycarb bottom, silver aluminum top, polycarb plate, and then this nice adorable little PCB. 40% PCBs are like around that size. They're so cute. I don't know why, but like they're so itty bitty, and it just makes them adorable.
Yeah, if anyone wants to sell a TMO 50, well, yeah, I'm looking for one.
Hey, you can't do that on the show. That's just wrong, man.
Okay. Well, and the only other thing I wanted to talk about before we start the show properly is the other thing that I got in this week as well, guys, is the T1 switches from KBD fans. So these are the smoky housing and the clear housing variants as well. If you guys haven't already checked it out, I have put a bit of a review up on the Top Clack website, so feel free to go and have a read of that. But the bottom line is that they are pretty nice. They're very tactile. And I'm quite excited to try them out on a board when I get my full group buy order through. So yeah, if you've got any questions about those, then feel free to ask them at the end of the stream.
Yep, for certain. We will have a Q&A at the end of the stream, just like we always do, so if you have questions, save it for then. But we have a ridiculously packed news doc today, so we are going to jump right into that now. And we're going to start us off with the big knowledge bomb that was dropped on us yesterday with a very epic kind of premiere video that lots of people just sat around and waited for while it launched on YouTube. I was one of them. It was kind of funny, actually. But if you are a fan of the M60A and maybe you couldn't find one or missed out on the previous run, well, there's a new run, and there's lots of new things going on with it. So, as you can see here, we have lots of new colors. We have, this is actually entirely new colors from the last batch, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I can't remember all the colors from last batch off the top of my head, but this one is going to feature two versions of the Kuro Stealth. Another thing you'll notice here is you can get both the hot swap PCB or a solderable PCB, just in case maybe you're not a fan of hot swap, you prefer to solder your boards, you think it feels better, sounds better, what have you. So that's a pretty neat addition there. It doesn't cost anything more or less, though, which is kind of interesting. You would think that the one without the hot swap might be like a little cheaper, but maybe that's just me. Either way, so we have the Kuro Stealth, the Moon Stealth, the Haze, and the Milk, which is probably my personal favorite. Yep, and so quick note on the price. So the lowest price, obviously, you can get is $345 here. That's with the Kuro or the Moon Stealth. That's actually, if I'm not mistaken, down $15 from last run's price of $360. I'm pretty sure that was the base price. So we are seeing a lower introductory price at the very least here, which is always pretty nice. What? Hold on. How? Where? Okay, hold on. I can fix this. Hold on. Wait. There we go.
Okay. Am I back, guys? Can you hear me now?
He should be good now. Sorry, guys. I fixed everything in like one of the scenes that I used, but I didn't fix everything in the other scene that we used.
Yay!
So apologize for that, guys. But we should be back. Don't worry, Jay's never saying anything important, anyways. We're fine.
Oh, right.
Oh, kidding.
I see how it is. Well, clearly the audience have spoken. Even Nathan Kim said, "Have Top Clack sub want J audio." So there you go. The audience have spoken. And as the audience has spoken, Mountain Blocks with 222 bits. Thank you very much, man. Really appreciate that, dude.
All right. Well, good thing we found that audio issue quickly. The chat is quick about that. Anyways, yeah, so 4 new color options, a lower base price, which is pretty interesting, and a plethora of things that can actually go with it. So let me try to find the right page, actually.
So I'm kind of interested on one of these items. So as you guys all know, it had both an internal and an external weight on the first round, and as well as the internal weight on this round, there is also what Rama's terming a dampener, which is kind of like an insert that's designed to dampen the sound of the keyboard. Now, I think this is the first time it's being done in a group buy, rather than just using sheets of sorbethane or anything else like that. I certainly haven't seen or don't remember anything else having that kind of functionality. But this looks really, really well designed. It's searching for the dampener directly. Yeah,
I couldn't find it.
It looks really well designed. It's clearly got a lot of manufacturing and time put into just how this looks and clearly how it functions as well. So I'm interested to see some sound tests when people get these in hand as well. It's very interesting.
Yeah, so like you were saying, I think this is the first time we've ever seen something like this actually come as an option for a keyboard. Yeah. Obviously, sound has become huge in our community over the last couple years, and this is definitely proof of that. The fact that we need this. A lot of people from the round 1 version of the M60A thought that it sounded maybe a little too hollow, maybe a little too pingy, depending on what switches you used, whether or not you're using the internal weight. And this is obviously a really elegant Rama-style approach to the problem. So I am certainly going to be getting one of these because I have an M60A. I'm typing on it right now, and I want to see how this will work in terms of actually altering the acoustic properties. One thing to note here is you cannot use the dampener with the internal weight. They're interchangeable. Yes, you cannot use them simultaneously.
Yeah, and to be honest, it looks like a really hefty piece of silicon. I imagine it's going to be quite chunky on its own and quite weighty on its own, to be honest with you. I imagine it's going to have a fair bit of heft
100 grams. 100 grams is what he says.
That size.
So, yeah. And of course, just like they're trying to do a little bit more here of cross-compatibility, the compatibility here is the M60A and the KOU, so you can interchange both the weight and the sound dampener between those two. So if, let's say you got in the KOU group buy that just recently finished up not too long ago, but you wanted to get one of these to use in it, you still can. You can just order this separately. So you don't actually have to use it with the M60A. Sequence 2 is what they're calling it. He doesn't call it round 2 or version 2, he calls it sequence 2.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty adorable.
That Rama branding there. Dixie Mech has also noted something that I noticed on this as well, that the logo is actually twisted on the dampener. It's actually rotated through a quarter turn, so it's not aligned to the front effectively. So that's quite interesting. I'm not sure if that's an oversight from Rama or if that's by design or if it's intentional, but
yeah, I don't know. Usually Rama doesn't
There's
have.
There's got to be a reason.
Yeah, Rama's pretty smart, man. Like, if he does something, there's a reason. And speaking of reasons, he's also altered a couple more things. So if you noticed here, if you have very accurate eyes, you might have noticed that the fasteners here are different. So on the M60A Sequence 1, we had kind of like these chunky hex screws. Here he's actually decided to change that entirely. So now we have Torx fasteners. So a lot of people are really happy to see that. I'm not an expert on fasteners, but from what I hear, these are actually far and away the better option. So pretty cool to see that as well.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Using Torx is much better option. You're less likely to strip them. Literally, the keys in the name Torx, you can put more torque behind them without damaging them. So yeah, it's really good.
Yep. And everything else is more or less the same. There are actually a couple more mount points on the PCB now. So a quote-unquote problem that people were having with the first run was that if you use the hot swap feature and let's say you didn't take your board apart, you just have it on your desk and you're just putting switches in from the top, the PCB can actually bow down a little bit in the middle because the supporting pins are all towards the outer parts of the PCB. So when you push switches in the middle, the PCB would bow a little bit, and sometimes switches wouldn't fully press in there unless you pressed it from the back of the PCB as well. So what they're doing here is they're actually adding 2 more mount points towards the middle, which actually kind of combat that issue. So nice updates there. But aside from that, we're getting a lot of the same specs as the first run. So you have your 4.5mm integrated aluminum plate, you have an 8-degree angle, you have that nice, sexy Wilbur design PCB with the hot swap, the SMD RGB, and the USB-C daughter board as well.
Yeah, and it's also VIA or VIA compatible as well as QMK as well. So you've got all of that functionality available to you as well. And Geo just calling out in chat that you can also buy each piece individually if you want to. If you have a round 1 board and you want to update it, you want to buy maybe the internal dampener, or you want to buy a new PCB, or you want to buy the torque screws, or whatever you need, you can buy all of the components individually as well.
Yeah, which is awesome. Super
it's
awesome.
A really good update, yeah.
Like I'm gonna be getting the dampener for sure, and I'll probably pick up the torque screws as well, just because they're not that expensive.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, make sure you check this out, guys. This is something a lot of people have been asking for. M60 has been pretty darn popular, and in my experience, it's also a really, really fun board, really, really nice board, and I've been absolutely loving it. So get in it while you can.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the dampener affects the sound when you get hold of that, Brian. Definitely interested to see that.
All right, moving on. We have the hold on. I saw the video, so I know how to pronounce this word, Jay.
Go on then. Go on. How do you pronounce it?
All right, this is the interest check for the Majapahit. This is an ergo style keyboard that at first glance really kind of reminded me of the TGR Alice. And rightly so. I think this is kind of a market where the Alice was super duper popular. Everyone wants one, and to have a competitor to it, I think would be a really good idea. And whoever gets to the market first with something pretty comparable, I think is going to do relatively well.
Absolutely, and this is kind of a 65% take on the on that kind of Alice layout as well. So you've got actually got, in addition to the ergo design of the layout, you've also got arrow keys and some macro keys to the top right as well, whereas Alice had the macro keys to the top left. So slightly different changes in style, which separates it out from the Alice. But I think this looks quite good, to be honest with you. I quite like this.
Honestly, it does look pretty darn nice. This is a really early interest check, not a ton of info. This is by Vulcan, by the way, who brought you stuff like the Fusion design that was recently up on KBD Fans. This is his newest kind of work. He does have an interest check little form there. Are you getting the links? One of us is doing that.
Yeah, the link posted in there. Yeah.
Okay, someone asked for the link.
I'd pasted it in and not hit enter. So yeah, I've done it now.
You're slacking, Jay. Come on, get your head in the game. Oh my gosh. All right, so yeah, if you're interested in something like this, make sure you fill out this little interest check. He's got linked as well. Hopefully we can get some more info on that soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in this because I kind of like the side profile of this case as well. So when we look at the how the top and the bottom piece fit together, I kind of like that whole side profile. So you've kind of got grooves to get your fingers underneath to pick it up. I'm a sucker for that kind of layout. So yeah, I like that.
For sure. All right, moving on to an interest check that has quite a bit more information. We have the E6.5 from Exclusive. This is his take on a 65% board. So obviously he did the E6V2, which is that 60% that was pretty popular. He did the E7V1, I think was what it was called, and that's the 75%. And now he's moving on to the 65% world. And here he clearly draws a lot of inspiration from the former 2 projects that he's done a lot of work on. Yeah, and we see a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, so just looking at the specs on this one, so there's a couple of interesting facts on this one. Firstly, he's going to offer this with a polycarbonate version, so you will be able to pick up a fully frosted polycarbonate case, both top and bottom. Secondly, he's also considering, he is putting in gasket mount, so you'll have a choice between gasket mount or top mount, depending on how you want to build the board for your personal stylistic choice, so in terms of typing feel. So you can either screw the plate to the top of the case, or you can use an O-ring gasket and compress that with the top half of the case as well. So two distinct layouts in the same board, or two distinct mounting types in the same board, which is quite interesting. Just looking at some of the other bits and pieces, it's going to be offering anodization in 3 different colours, which haven't been determined as yet, but there will also be E-white and E-black colours, as well as the solid PVD gold, silver and champagne and rose gold options, although he's only going to pick 2 of those PVD ones to take through to the group buy.
Yep, pretty darn interesting. So he has a couple different layout options for the top, 4 in fact. Excuse me. So he's got your normal version. He's got your 65% with single right side blocker. Then he has the 65% with right side blocker and this kind of like weird, I don't know, 0.25 or is it a 0.5 HHKB blocker on the left side? Which is
it's 0.5.
Which is, to me personally, that's really, really odd. And then he also has one that has 2 blockers. He has a full wind keyless blocker on the left side, and then the arrow key blocker on the right. So lots of options there.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like the look of this mini blocker on the left. It doesn't feel like it's substantial enough to me. But I'd be interested to see what it looks like on the finalized designs.
Yeah, his very first picture of the thread has it rendered with that left side blocker, and I think it's goofy, if I'm being honest.
I mean, it's fine, but I don't think it'd be my choice. Is where I'm probably leaning to right now.
Yeah. In any case, similar to the E6V2, he does have the name tag area in the top right there. And unlike previous versions, you can actually get the name tag in PVD brass. So that's kind of cool too, if that was maybe more your thing. And in true exclusive fashion, he's going to be limiting the full PVD brass versions to 10. So if you're one of those people that likes to shell out $600, $700, $900 on full PVD metal boards, then you're covered here.
The other thing as well he's changed from the E6V2, for example, is the weight as well. So the weight design is more of an aesthetic piece on this one, and he's using his logo for it rather than a block of metal with a design on it. So it's quite interesting that he's chosen to do it that way instead.
Yep. Awesome stuff. So there is an interest check form in there. Make sure you fill it out if this is something you're into, so that way he can get to work on this. I imagine this will probably happen, let's be honest.
Yeah, I can't see it not running.
Yeah.
The interest check's gone a bit wild for this one, so it's probably going to run.
Yeah, people are really into the exclusive stuff. He does good work, and he's a nice guy, and he's willing to help out people, so can't really fault him for that. Moving on, we have another interest check for the Omega 60. So this one is by Winde, I think is probably how you pronounce the name. And if you're not familiar, Winde was the designer of the Reflex and Paradox 60% boards that recently went through group buy phase and I think are probably currently in production now. But this is the next design from Winde, something I think they're trying to go for a little bit cheaper, a little bit less intense of some options, but there's still a lot going on here. So let's talk a little bit about this. Starting with the fact that they call the mounting type floating bagel sandwich mount. And just before we move on to more info about this board, let's talk about that mounting name for a second. And I remember, I don't know if it was last episode or the one before, you had mentioned that gasket mount is obviously a vague term that made sense before because we never really saw it. But now that we have so many iterations of what it kind of goes to accomplish the exact same thing, we obviously need subdivisions for gasket mount. And is floating bagel sandwich the one you were looking for?
Well, I disagree on the fact that they go for the same aims. I think all the different ways you can implement gaskets probably offer different features and experiences to the end user. But this one is just burger mount, which I think it was Heine that developed this, but I think that's the more common name for this one is burger mount, which is effectively an adaptation of the O-ring mount. But yeah, I can kind of see it. I can kind of see why they've done it. It's quite interesting. It does mean a lot more machine time, I think, just from the way they've integrated the design into the case. But it's quite slick and it's quite well done. I think the other board of note at the minute that's got this burger mount is UPass's Satisfaction 75 as well. So it's interesting to see it on another board in production as well.
Speaking of UPass, he's saying that the GB was cancelled for Reflex and Paradox. I actually didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't think it made MOQ. So yeah.
It was a very cool board, very cool design, but man, was it expensive. So I'm not terribly surprised. Talisman Solution donates another 1,111 bits. Thank you for that, sir. Very, very much appreciated. But anyways,
he's going for Olivia's spot just on that. He's only 1,111 away from Olivia's spot. So
yeah, Olivia doesn't really watch. I don't think Olivia watches much anymore. She's fed up with Top Clack probably. Anyways, back to this interest check. Let's talk a little bit about the specs here. So we're seeing a lot of the same kind of design things that were going on with Reflex and Paradox, just implemented on maybe a scale that they try to keep the price a little bit more reasonable on this one. Though I will say it's still a little on the high side, but not as outlandish as the previous ones.
Yeah, I think given the complexity in the design and how the mounting system's been integrated into the board, I can kind of understand where the price is. The interesting thing is if you did try to join the Paradox or Reflex group buy, you do get a discount on this as well. So instead of it being $380, you can get it for $350. But there is only 18 slots available for this board. So again, reduce the capacity of the group buy, increases the price, as we all know. So I think the price is fairly justified, given when you make those considerations. So we'll just have to see how that goes. In terms of the actual specs, it's a 7-degree angle. The round one will only have an unblocked top only with a Sangan layout for the optional split backspace and step caps lock as well. They estimate that the weight fully built with the brass plate will be around 2.2 kilograms, and it's going to come in black, dark grey, deep red, and navy blue.
Yeah, what caught my attention was also the plate color options. So like you said, for the case, you have black, dark gray, deep red, and navy blue. The plate is deep red, royal blue, or sandblasted brass. So we have no neutral colored plates. You can't get black plates, you can't get silver, you can't get gray. You have to get red, blue, or brass, which I thought was kind of interesting.
It is, yeah. So you're going to have that bling, whatever you buy, I guess. But I think it depends on the case color you're going to go with as to what you want to pick there. I'm not sure the blue on the blue would look particularly good. It depends on the shades when they come up with them. But the black and the deep red plate, that's going to look great.
Yeah, absolutely. So angle 7 degrees here, and there is no PCB included at the $380 price point. So. But you can purchase a GH60 for $38 through this group buy, or you can buy one from KBD fans for $30, which I'm assuming by him putting this here, that is what he is suggesting. He probably doesn't want to deal with PCBs because it's just extra logistics. Just wants to focus on the case. So
yeah, and well, the other thing as well is the plate design. I don't know if you've had a look at the plate designs on here, Brian, but effectively what he's got is simulations on how the plate and how relief cuts in the plate will affect typing feel. So they're kind of almost like heat mapped graphs that show where you're going to feel resistance on the plate and where you're going to feel flex. And he's interestingly got this cutout around the spacebar switch point to increase flex and make it more consistent across the base of across the entirety of the plate, which is the second example on the renders. The third render actually shows what would happen if you just completely removed that area and made it even more flexible, but then you're going to have a really flexible spacebar point and you're going to get less flexible as you go out towards the extremities of the board. To be honest, I think I'd be kind of interested to try that last simulation out. I'd like to try both the second and the third simulation out on the plate designs. I think both of them could be quite interesting.
Yeah, Nebulant donates 100 bits. Thank you for that, my dude. But I think this simulation thing is really, really cool, by the way. I just wanted to point that out. The fact that you actually have the heat map there to show where you're going to be getting the most and the least amount of flex, most amount of bow when you're typing. I think that's pretty clever, and it's really nice to have it laid out like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it looks really good, and it gives you more of an informed understanding of why the plates are designed the way they are, and which is why when he's got a fixed layout designed for this as well. So even though you can use an open source PCB, it kind of explains why he wants to use a fixed layout when you understand his aims for the flex of the board.
Yep, certainly. So group by date, still nothing solid, but obviously with Chinese New Year coming up, it's going to be sometime after that because Chinese New Year.
And Wilbur's got a good point as well. He's not modelling the PCB switches creating any additional rigidity. He's just literally looking at the plate in terms of the flex in the plate as well. So they're just a guide rather than
Yeah, obviously once they're into a PCB and they actually put all that pressure on the plate as well, it's going to be more rigid than just the plate itself. All right, cool stuff. We'll have to pay attention to this for the group buy upcoming.
Absolutely.
Speaking of group buys, this next topic is in group buy phase, and we talked about it during the interest check phase a few weeks ago. This is the Hadron V3, a 72 key ortholinear with some pretty interesting features.
Yeah, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I think Ishtob, who's running the group buy, is actually watching at the minute as well. So I hope I didn't do any disjustice to his board. But effectively, it's an ARM powered PCB with USB-C support, a built-in speaker, an OLED display, RGB underglow, and haptic feedback. So that feeling you get when you're typing on your phone, you can feel yourself pressing the buttons on your phone's keyboard. This board actually has that kind of vibration feel built into it through a haptic motor, which is the first time I've seen it in a keyboard, I think. And I'm really interested to try and see what this feels like when you're actually using it in real life.
Yeah, should be pretty darn interesting. Talisman gifts another tier 1 sub, this time to Wilba. 29 gift subs for the channel. Thank you very much, Talisman.
Thank you, Talisman. Really appreciate it, man.
What an MVP.
Absolutely.
All right, so this board definitely has a lot of cool things going on with it, like all the things that Jadis mentioned. Also, the way the plates work is something that really, really fascinates me. So, as you can see from this first picture, you could probably surmise he's used pretty low-profile caps. He's also used low-profile switches, like the Kale Chalk switches, low-profile stuff there. You can kind of see it without all that stuff there. But if you scroll down a little bit, check out this picture here. So there's actually a brass spacer that you can add to give it not only extra height and extra heft for the board entirely, but also to be able to mount normal MX style switches. So you can kind of choose between whether you want normal MX or if you want some of the low profile chalk switches or something of the like. So that is pretty darn interesting. He does have a physical CNC aluminum prototype here, as you can see. And he did actually message me the other day and asked me if I wanted to check out a prototype. And I said, yes, sure, absolutely, sign me up. So in the near-ish future, I think it's going to one other person before it's going to me, but I will be getting one of these. I'll probably do a little stream, build it up, talk about it a little bit, and maybe we can play around with the firmware and different features on it. That'll be pretty fun. But if you're interested in buying one of these, it's going to be $255 for the bare bone kit. And the MX plate set will cost you an additional $25. And here's something I'm a little confused on. I'm not really sure how the MX plate set works. I'm not sure if that is the brass spacer, because it says right here that the set, assuming the bare bone set, will come with a bead-blasted steel top plate and a laser-cut brass spacer. So I'm not really sure what the MX plate set is for.
Yeah, Ishtob, if you're in chat and you can clarify that for us, then that'd be really useful. Either way, I think that this looks like a really interesting proposition. I'm really keen to see your video trying this out, Brian, because the couple of things. I want to see what you think of the haptic feedback. I also wanted to see what you think about inserting this extra plate and changing switches as well, especially given it's hot swap for both types. Ishtob's replied now. He said the plate isn't in the standard kit. So the is that the brass spacer you mean, Ishtob?
Yeah, I don't. Is the brass spacer different from the MX plate? I guess would be.
Oh yes, he's saying that the plate and the spacer are for MX. So I think there's two different bits in there. I think there's a plate and a spacer.
Okay,
I think it's two different pieces.
Just a quick word of advice on this group buy thread, because I don't know if other people got confused like me, but if you're going to talk about what's included, you should talk about what's included in just the barebone kit, and then also talk about what's included in the MX plate kit, because this first line really threw me off. I thought both of them came with the barebones kit. But, you know, maybe everyone else that's joining this group by reading the thread is a lot smarter than me. That could be a possibility as well. Anyways, here's the group buy timeline. Opened on the 27th, which was about 4 days ago, and it closes the 24th of February. So you have still almost a month to get in here if this is your thing. Very interesting looking board, if nothing else.
Yep, and he's expecting to ship in early June as well, which is pretty close, even with Chinese New Year and everything else. So it's interesting to see if he can hit those timelines, and I hope he does.
Yep, absolutely. All right, moving on. Tell us about the TG4X, Jay.
Let me get this link into chat first as well. Oh, and Ishtob's just actually donated 300 bits, and I think I saw Mr. Petrov do 500 before, so thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you, guys.
Really appreciate that. Let me paste this link into chat. There we go. Okay, so the TG4X, as the title says, is a dirt cheap QMK powered 40%. So it's based on the TG3, which is an open source board, I believe, an open source 40%. It only offers one layout, which is fine. It's called the meaty potatoes layout, according to the this interest check. But it's just your standard 40%, but it gives you a 6.25, or is it a 6U spacebar? I can't remember. One or the other, but standard size space either way. And yeah, it's just designed to be a really cheap $30 to $40 40% board that gives you all of the bare bones stuff.
Yeah, very cool. I like these this kind of genre of board that costs, you know, what almost all of us in the hobby can afford. You know, when you're spending $20, $30, $40 on a board, I think that's pretty darn reasonable. It's a very accessible way to get into the hobby. I do have a picture up with the layout on screen right now. What do you think about this layout, Jay? Is this something you could adapt to?
I think I'd probably struggle with it. I struggle with a lot of 40%, so I've got a couple. The one interesting thing I do notice on this is that the stagger is correct. So I really struggle with my Pearl because the stagger is incorrect, but on this the stagger is correct. So I'll probably be better with this than some other boards. I think for the sake of the price, it's something I'll probably pick up and give it a go, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cheap enough to where you can kind of just try it, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't really matter that much. You can just maybe gift it to someone else that could get more use out of it.
Absolutely, and it's also the type of thing that'd make a really good travel board because it's cheap, it's inexpensive, but yeah, it looks quite nice at the same time. So you know, it's always useful for those kind of things as well.
Yeah, not too bad. I know a lot of 40% enthusiasts think it's pretty heathen to use a full size spacebar on a 40%. But I'm the kind of guy that does that. I'll probably be doing that on my TMO 50 as well. So I appreciate all of you fellow heathens out there. Awesome. Good stuff. So make sure to show some interest in this, and maybe we can get that going.
Absolutely. Okay, and for the next list or item on the list for today, we've got GMK Bento. So I've just shared the link in the chat. So this is a new keycap set. We've talked about the IC on Top Clack a couple of weeks ago. Inspired by Japanese culture, and it's got the traditional Japanese sub-legends as well as the standard sub-legends on the alphas. What do you think of this one, Brian?
I have kind of a love-hate relationship with this set. So I absolutely love the colorways. I really dislike most of the novelties. I don't know. I really enjoy the colorway. It's quite nice, but I don't like the novelties, and I'm getting a little worn out of the Japanese sub-legends, honestly. It's been on almost every set, it seems like, lately. I just have it as an option, sure, but I don't know. I don't like it when it's the default option for so many sets nowadays.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I have one or two sets with the sub legends. I'm not personally a fan. I would tend to shy away from those. I'm also not a fan personally of the salmon coloured keycaps on this one. I kind of get that they're integral to the set. It's just not for me. But I really love the blue with the salmon legends. I think that blue colour is really really nice. And I think if I did pick this up, I would go for one of the bottom renders where it's just the all blue mods. I think that's really 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 smart.
Yeah, one thing I do like a lot on this is the obviously we've been seeing a lot of Rama brass or aluminum caps going alongside with sets lately, and I think that's pretty cool. And I think both of the Rama caps are freaking gorgeous on this one.
Yeah, I especially like that it's got the white enamel fill on top of the salmon keycap as well.
Yeah, that's why I would. Yeah, the salmon one is aluminum. The other one is brass. So I'd probably opt for the salmon one on this one, just because that kind of infill looks really really nice.
Yeah, it looks stunning. It looks really really good. Yeah.
Very cool stuff. So this is up in group buy right now. Base price is $150 for that base kit. You can opt for the Kobe kit for $70, and that'll get you the Hiragana Mono Legends. If you just don't like English legends, because Latin legends, whatever. No one needs that anyways. Spacebar's kit for $28, very nice, and the Rama caps are $38 and $56 respectively if you want aluminum or brass. So, not too bad. Group buy will close the end of February, so you still have quite a bit of time to get in on that. So go ahead and support Novel Keys. Check out this set. This one's designed by Beep, if anyone was curious.
Yeah, who was it DSA Milkshake he did before, I think?
He's done Milkshake. I think he's done a few things already, but yeah, Milkshake was one of them.
Yeah. He's also got an EU vendor and a couple of others as well. So Candy Keys is here in the EU. And also interestingly as well, up on Novel Keys at the minute, there is a matching macro pad as well. I don't know if you want to show that now, Brian, or come back to that later on.
I can do it.
But effectively, this is the Keywork slider, which just comes in matching colours to match the key set, which is quite nice. And I kind of like it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really adorable, honestly.
Yeah.
It actually makes the novelties look good on that, so that's pretty cute.
Yeah, it's a really good use case for the novelties. Like if you don't like them on the board, or if you wanted to use all of the blue mods on the board, this is a really good opportunity to use the salmon mods.
Yeah. I don't like how this only comes with cherry switches. It is a hot swap board, so obviously you can put in whatever switches you want. But it'd be cool to see this offered with other options, especially because Novelties being a vendor that stocks a wide range of switches. You should have maybe a couple more options there that aren't just cherry, but just a very small minor gripe.
I think the reason behind that is because this is actually a Candy Keys product. So Keywork is a sub-store from Candy Keys, and they are making these macro pads. So I suspect that it's just due to the different vendors being behind it.
Yep, could totally be. Fair enough. All right. Next up is an interest check for the version 2 of GMK Oblivion, or kind of like a round 2, depending on how you look at it. But Oblivion's coming back. Very popular set from a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, mid 2017, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, but very popular set, and he's doing things slightly differently this time. So if you can go ahead and talk about those differences.
Yeah, so this time you've got a number of base kits. So you've got the Git base kit, you've got the monochrome base kit, you've also got the assembly kit and the Hagorama alphas as well, and then there's a couple of smaller kits for alternate function rows, space keys, and space bars as well. Interestingly as well, Blotsky's also brought the Oblivion Cadet alphas into the Cadet alphas into the Oblivion set, so those are available as well. And then there's a kind of section here where he said maybe to a couple of other sets. So you've got kind of Hagorama Cadet, Oblivion Kolvrak, and then the Oblivion NORDEUK UK set as well. So those are all kind of maybes depending on how the interest check goes and how people feel about those sets as to whether they make it into production or not.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. If you guys didn't realize right off the bat, like Jade mentioned, there is a monochrome base kit. So in the previous run, the one that I got in on was monochrome was a separate kit that you had to pay extra for. The base kit actually had the multicolored Git alphas, which I am not a fan of all that color, generally speaking. So I opted for the monochrome. So it's actually really cool to be able to see 2 base kits here. One with and one without monochrome. So pretty happy to see that. That'll kind of keep the prices down for people that want to get monochrome, because it was super popular. I remember monochrome actually only just barely met MOQ, and then after the group buy shipped, everybody wanted monochrome. And it was going for ridiculous prices on aftermarket. So this is going to be really nice. It's going to kind of cancel that out. You can just get your monochrome base kit, easy peasy. Comes with a couple accent keys as well. So very, very happy to see that.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, it was 2 base kits last time as well, but it was difference between the white and the grey alphas, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was how it was split out last time. So it is interesting to see that he's chosen a different route of going for it. I do think that the grey alphas were more popular in round 1 than the white alpha set. So I can completely see why he's split it up this way. And he's been really open and honest about all of the other kits that are in the maybe pile as well, that they might not get to MOQ and they might not get made. Whilst that doesn't support the layouts that I would prefer personally, I completely respect the fact that he's been really upfront and really open about that. So he's calling that out right up at the very beginning. So yeah, it's good to see that he's been open and honest about that as well.
Yep, and Zombumon, being the veteran designer and interest check group buy person that he has been for a while now, has a ridiculous amount of renders here on all different boards with all kinds of layouts and configurations. And Zombumon and Oblatsky are both pretty cool. I think I said Zombumon first. Sorry, this one's Oblatsky. I don't know why I get them confused sometimes. I'm like, what sets did Zombumon do? Like, I don't know. They're both great people. I love both of them. But not the first time I've gotten them confused. But anyways, yes, Oblatsky doing a very good job here. Lots of renders. You can kind of see how things look depending on what board and layout you want to use them with.
Yeah, I think this is going just by the interest in the interest check. This is going to sell really well. It's going to be very, very popular. I think it's already on something like 8 pages on Keycaps, so there's a lot of responses already. So yeah, a lot of interest in the community.
Oh, for sure, this is going to happen, and he has quite a bit of information here. I'm pretty sure this is going to be running on Massdrop.
Yeah, it's going to be running on Massdrop. Yeah. One of the interesting things as well is he has removed the red keys that were in the monochrome base kit. I believe they were in there the other day, but they have been pulled out. I'm not sure if there's a reason for that. I've just noticed in looking at the renders that they're not in there anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if anyone's got any information on that, but I haven't seen anything myself.
Interesting. Very interesting. Maybe it was like the tipping point on a price break for an MOQ or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But most assuredly, this is coming to Group I phase. Should be on Massdrop, so expect this to be coming very soon.
Some of the people in chat are saying that it was the red keys were moved because with the white alphas it looked too close to Honeywell.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that
I can kind of see that.
That kind of makes sense. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. All right. Anyways, let's move on to another interest check, this time for Signature Plastics SA Fluffy Clouds, which is a very cute name. But this is also a very interesting set in that I'll show this picture here. This is the set. So you don't have compatibility for anything outside of pretty much a bunch of different ortholinear boards. Pont, Prionic, Helix, Let's Split, Iris, Atreus, things like that.
Yeah.
So very limited compatibility, but who knows why. He does have a lot of information here. He sounds like a nice guy. He's got a little backstory there why he wanted to do the set, and the artisan that kind of inspired him to do this colorway, which is a Shishi Cyanara, I believe is the colorway. Yep, there we go.
It is, yeah.
So he wanted to do kind of a cyan and white kind of fluffy cloud theme there. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, interesting. He's already got some estimated prices as well. Now he says they will change between the group buy. These are just guide prices at the moment. But if he only gets 25 orders, it looks like around $78 plus shipping per set. Whereas if you get up to 75 orders, then it'll drop down to somewhere in the region of about $55. So there's quite some nice, quite big price breaks there, to be honest. Those prices drop down quite nicely. I'd be interested to see how much support it gets given the limited layout options. But I think the colours look really nice together and work really well.
For sure. Like. Yeah, I think the colours do look nice, and I think at the 75 MOQ at $55, it's actually pretty good price, honestly, even for this limited amount of caps. But then again, I'm not mainly an ortho user, so this would be a little wasted on me. But if you are, then this could be totally right up your alley.
Yes, absolutely.
He has a nice little timeline here as well.
Yeah, I think he also mentions that these are stock colours, so if people did want to get blanks to flesh out to cover other sets, you might be able to do that from Pimp My Keyboard. I'm pretty sure he said that in somewhere where I was reading it the other day. So the blanks might be an option. He says that there blanks might be an option for this set. So if people do want other size keys, he might be able to get additional blanks to help that compatibility out.
Yep, for sure. So he's pretty open and transparent about everything here. So pretty nicely drawn up interest check thread for those of you that are interested. Hopefully you can get 75 people and get that price pretty darn low.
Okay, moving on then, we've got an interest check, which is kind of close to my heart, which is for GMK White on Black NORDEUK UK kit. So this is an add-on kit, and it's by our very own ISO Returns from Top Clack Discord. So he's running this interest check for basically what is an add-on kit for anyone who's bought the White on Black Mass Drop set recently. So it adds support for British, Danish, Finnish, German, Norwegian and Swedish communities, but it is an interest check, and that may change depending on MOQs, amount of caps, and demand.
Wow. Danish, Finnish, Norwegian, Swedish. This I didn't realize there were so many layout variations across the EU.
There is, and this is part of the reason why these kits struggle to get to MOQ, because you end up having to buy so many different keycaps to support your layout that you're not going to use. So for example, in that render I'd only use the top row, but I would have to buy this whole kit for all of the other keys as well. So it is interesting that they're kind of bundled this way, but it's nice to see that the EU community is trying to rally a bit on these kits.
Yep, very cool. So pretty nicely laid out interest check thread. There's not a ton of useless information here. He's got some pictures and all the information really easily laid out and bulleted. Nice little to-do list and an update list. Very nice, like seeing that. So heck yeah.
Yeah, he's also got links to where you can get the available base sets from as well. So you can get these from Mass Drop and Originative as well. The Originative one has got slightly more compatibility than the Mass Drop one, but it still doesn't account for all of the different types of EU community keycaps that are in this interest check.
Yeah, the Originative one is also $170 US, while the Mass Drop one is quite a bit cheaper. So there is that. Best of luck to you, ISO Returns, on this one. Best of luck.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have the interest check for the Enjoypbt G81-3000 SAT set. So
that's a great title, isn't
it? That's just about the most attractive title for a key set you could probably ever have. Anyways, tell us a little bit about this one, Jay.
Okay, so there's a link to an image in here. So this is where Gok has been asked by Way from Keyboard fans to come up with a set to be produced by Enjoypbt, which is based on this historic board, so the Cherry G81-3000. So in terms of the ideas, he's looking for interest on how people would like the keycaps to be made, what sort of legends they'd like to carry over. Would they like to keep the traditional look? Would they like to change anything? I think the only thing that has been made so far in terms of a decision is that there will be text and icon modifiers rather than just the icon modifiers as well. So it's interesting that we're getting to see really early on an interest check for an EPBT set and what kind of keycaps that's going to contain, and how it's going to replicate one of these older, more classic looking sets as well.
Yeah, I'm looking through the pictures right now. Pretty interesting. There's a lot of text and icon on a lot of these caps, so I'm interested to see how Enjoypbt is going to replicate that, especially with like these number row caps, for instance, that you can see on stream now. They have a lot going on per cap.
Yeah, and there's a lot of front printed legends as well, which I'm not sure I've seen that on an EPBT set before. I don't know if it exists or not.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I brought that up. I'm really curious to see how well they're going to be able to accomplish that, because I don't believe I've seen that on an Enjoypbt set yet either. So pretty interesting stuff there. Interest check just went up last week, so make sure you guys check that out if that's something you are into. Hopefully we'll probably cover this again once it reaches actual group buy or in stock phase at KBD fans.
Yeah, I think it's if it looks as nice as the old keycaps do on the historic board, the vintage board, then I'm really interested in picking up a set of this. I think it looks really nice.
Yep, I'm always a fan of classic vintage, kind of quote unquote boring looking stuff like this, and that yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. Awesome. So next up, just continuing a little bit on that vintage train, we have Living Speed Bump back for a round 3 of Jukebox SA, which, for the record, is probably my favorite SA set.
Oh, really?
For anyone that actually cares. I think Jukebox was my very first SA set. I managed to get one in round 1, if I recall.
Okay.
And I loved it. I don't like typing on it. But I like the way that it looks. I think it's absolutely classic, and I think he really nailed the colors.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I really love this set as well. I've got a set.
Yeah. Oh, your audio just went like super quiet. What is going on here?
Oh, how weird.
Now you're back. Yeah, that was very strange. But yeah, you're good now.
Skype problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love this. As I say, I've got a set on a board that I use fairly frequently, and I think it's just a really good classic looking set, especially when you pair it with like the pictures at the top do with a red or a cyan board. I think it just looks fantastic. And someone posted a picture of this keycap set on a Noble Force the other day, and I thought it just looked amazing on that kind of cyan Noble Force. So yeah, I really like this.
Heck yeah! So this is round 3, guys. We haven't seen it in a while. He actually has a little timeline here. So round 1 happened 2015, round 2 happened 2016, and this is round 3. So it's been a few years since we've actually seen this. So maybe if you're a little bit newer to the hobby and you wanted to pick up one of these, this is going to be your time. Knowing Living Speed Bump, he's probably going to be running this on Mass Drop. I don't know if he actually has that listed anywhere, but that would be absolutely my guess.
He does. Yeah, he says it's going to be Mass Drop that run this, yeah.
Yep, that makes sense. He works pretty closely with them. So, pretty cool stuff. He's got a little kit breakdown here, but he doesn't have a ton of renders yet. So, we'll have to look forward to that. But this is coming soon. Coming soon. There's no official date yet. It's just a bunch of emojis.
Yeah, I'm not sure which of these kits have run previously. I know the numpad, ISO, color modifier kit, they've all run before. I'm not sure if the any of the other kits beneath that have run previously. I'm not sure about that. But interestingly, he's got sets that are on the fence as well. So Dvorak and Kolmak, as well as the German, Nordic, and a Slavic kit as well. I don't think we've ever seen a Slavic kit in any SA set either. So
yeah, I wonder.
It's got that.
I wonder how requested that is.
Well, I've never requested it. I've never asked for it. But if he puts it in there, I'd be tempted to buy it just to see what it's like. To be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Why not?
Yep. So very cool stuff. We'll check this out again once it hits the group buy phase on Mass Drop, which could be soon, guys. Could be soon.
Yeah, I think he said 2 to 3 months after the kit's finalised, he's wanting to get it on Mass Drop, so it could be fairly recent. Yeah, fairly soon. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to something very interesting.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
So this is, I guess it's kind of an interest check, even though it's not listed as one. By user One Punch. This is also, fun fact, his very first post here. So that makes it a little interesting.
It's really interesting. I was almost tempted to put it on last week's sheet, and I didn't, and then I regretted not putting it on. So I'm glad we're talking about this time. So he's very new to the community, or he seems to be. I certainly don't know his name from any of the traditional forums, and it's his first post on Geekak. but he is the creator of cubed keycaps, and what he's bringing is triple shot ABS cherry profile keycaps with brand new molds. So this is really, really interesting. He's got some pictures up as well, which are quite interesting. He also shows some JTK caps as well, which are double shots in comparison, which are the pink and white ones. But he has already got live proven samples of these, so you can see that he's got these black keycaps with white and red sublegends. To be honest, I think these look all right. Actually, I don't see many. I think that the surface looks kind of different to what we've seen with GMK and JTK. It looks a little bit rougher, but the legend themselves look crisp and clean, and I think these look all right. To be honest.
Yeah, I'll be a little bit more nitpicky on this. I think a lot of the legends look a little unrefined. They could use a little work. This J here, for instance, is actually tilted a little bit, which is kind of odd.
Yeah.
And like some of them just have some like minor thickness issues, like this S in particular. It's really, really thick right here, and really, really thin, like anywhere else. So I think obviously this is probably a relatively early project, but it's, if nothing more, it's definitely a proof of concept, and that he is pretty much ready to hit the market with something like this, maybe with just some minor tweaks. And honestly, looking pretty good. So if you guys have living under a rock, JTK triple shots recently announced and launched, I don't know, 2 months ago now. And this is kind of what's effectively going to be a competitor to that. Pretty interesting stuff. Triple shot here, his samples are kind of like a white on black, and he has these red, but I'm pretty positive are hiragana sublegends.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's good to see another player come into the market, and it's kind of interesting that we've not heard from him before, and then all of a sudden he's got these triple shots, which some of the big companies have struggled to do traditionally. So it's really interesting to see this, and I'd be interested to see where he's had his molds produced, and what kind of history he's got within the community as well. If there's another username that we know him under, it's one to watch, I think.
Yeah, so we'll have to pay attention to this, because this could be a really big deal. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, let's move on to another interest check, this one by Akatoshi. This is for GMK Annabelle. And I think this is referencing something I have no idea
I was going to ask you what it is. I was actually going to ask you, Brian, what is...
I don't know.
Skullgirls.
Yeah, this is... listed, says designed after Schoolgirl's character named Annie of the Stars, and he has a little picture. So I am kind of a weeb, but I don't think I am necessarily as much of a weeb as a lot of other people. So I am very not familiar with Skullgirls or what this is themed after in any sort of way. But here is the mock-up that he has right now. He has no what I'm going to call nice official renders. But he has just kind of the very bare KLE kind of mock-up here.
Yeah, I think the colours are reasonable, and looking at the source material, I can kind of see where he's pulled those colours from. I would be really concerned about the contrast between the legends and the alpha colour as well. I think they might be they might be difficult to see. It might have some contrast issues there. Yeah, but I quite like the hot pink caps. They're nice.
Oh yeah, that's probably my favorite part of the set. I really hate covering sets when they only have KLE renders. It actually kind of drives me nuts. But maybe we can get some more official renders from this person in the near future. Maybe some by Thesis Camper, Zombie Monoblotsky, people that have been doing renders for a while and actually can get things relatively accurate. That would be nice, because until we see a more official render, maybe on a board or something, it's just too hard to say, man. Because a KLE render can look way different than the finished product.
For sure.
Way different. Like, completely different set, so...
The other thing I would say as well is that these are Pantone colours that he's matched to, and we know how some sets have struggled with Pantones recently, and the advice from GMK is to stick to RAL colours, so... there might be a little bit of work for the interest check runner to have a look at that as well.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that goes, and we'll check it out if it hits that group buy phase. All right, next up we have on Pimp My Keyboard DSA Ferrous?
Ferrous, yeah.
Ferrous?
Yeah.
Okay. I felt like I was overthinking that a little bit. So I actually haven't seen this yet, so tell us a little about this one, Jay.
Okay, so this is a set designed by Austin, who's known in the community as One Creative Mind on Reddit. He's also on Discord as well, so he's within the community. His set's inspired by rust, basically. So ferrous oxide is rust on iron and other metals. So he's kind of designed it to have that kind of reddy orange, light grey and dark grey kind of look and feel. So kind of paying homage, he says, to SA Industrial and SA Symbiosis. So that's kind of where he's come from on this one. He actually did reach out to me a couple of months ago and asked if I'd be interested in helping him design one of the kits for this. So he has actually included a Hyper 7 kit, which PMK are going to produce if anyone orders it, which I will be doing. So that's a hefty old kit, but it's one of only 2 key sets that supports Hyper 7 right now. The original by 7-bit on Authority, and then this set as well. In terms of the other kits, they're priced, I think, around $125 for the base kit, something like that. I think if you look at the alphas and the mods that you need as well. I kind of like the contrast between it.
The Hyper 7 kit, man. That is... that Hyper 7 kit is something, man. Holy crap.
Yeah. Well, hey, I've got the board. He asked if I wanted to support it, and I was like, yeah, why not?
So now you're going to have to buy this now.
For sure, yeah.
Just because of that.
It's in my basket. I just haven't checked it out yet, but I'm absolutely gonna purchase that. Yeah, I might be the only person that does, but when I ran the group by a year or so ago for the Hyper 7 kits, there are boards out there now, and people don't have the keys for them. So there may be a small market for these. There may be a small market.
The Hyper 7 kit alone is $170. Very nice.
Yeah.
That board, that layout is no joke.
You've seen the board though, right, Brian? You've seen
it's massive. Yeah, I can see it behind you right now on stream even.
Oh yeah, it's just here. Well, that's half of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's intense, man. That is intense. Holy crap. Japanese Horror Raider donates 1,000 bits and says rip. Thank you, man.
Yeah. How much was the Hyper 7? Someone's asking in the chat as well. I can't find the question now, but it was PCBs and plates kit, and people were making their own cases, so it wasn't massively expensive. I think it was like $100 for the PCB or something when I ran that previously. But there is a reason why he has got that kit within this set, and that might be because Hyper 7 might be making a comeback.
Yeah, let's see those GMK Hyper 7 kits, Jay. I'm waiting for it, man. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, no, there's no GMK in the plan, but the boards might be coming back. Mech Boards in the UK have asked me if they can run the Hyper 7 group by again, so that might be coming back for round 3, which is why Austin was keen to support it. But taking it back to his key set, because we've kind of digressed a little bit, I kind of like this. I think the colours work well together. That kind of off red shade is quite nice, and it's PMK, so we know exactly what we're getting with their SP. DSA sets. So yeah, I'm all over this. I'm going to put an order in for pretty much half the set, including the Hyper 7 kit, in the next couple of days.
Rip your wallet. All right. Muffin Smasher says $700 GMK set. Yeah. Celestial Chicken says off red. It's orange.
Well,
oh man, off red. I don't think I've ever heard that term before.
They call it red orange in the interest checks or in the listing. So let's go with red orange instead of off red or orange. Construction zone orange. Yeah. I think it looks great. I'm not sure if it harks back to the rust for me, but I think it looks really good.
159 says 2 colorblind hosts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's bad. I have to rely on Jay for all my colors, and he uses stuff like off red. So, Rubai says not blue, kind of pink. Oh man. Anyways, Speaking of kind of pink, our next interest check is for GMK Sakura Retro. That segue was shout out to Man of Interest, you know, who's doing other things now.
Nice, well done.
So we have Sakura Retro here, and we have it's kind of a render. This is not a very good render, if I'm being totally honest, but it's better than a KLE render.
Yeah. So just in terms of this, stock colors, so it's quite an easy one for GMK to produce. So I think it uses L9, U9, 3C, and AE. I kind of like this, I've got to be honest. It reminds me of a kind of pastel 9009 set.
Yeah, kind of see that. Again, I need to see a better render before I can make any kind of judgment whether I like it or not. But that's part of what interest checks are for, I guess. But he does have a nice kit breakdown here with quite a bit of compatibility.
Yeah, I think it covers most layouts. It's kind of almost like a standard base kit that we see for a lot of group buys. I think it covers most of the most popular layouts. I think it looks quite nice. I'll be interested to see, as you say, some more renders and see how the pricing breaks down and what the finalized kits look like as well. But yeah, I kind of like this.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still trying to get the theme. Like when I see this key set, it doesn't really remind me of Sakura Cherry Blossoms. So I'm not really sure where that theme's really coming in here, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. You've got the muted kind of beige and off white, which kind of represent the tree and things like that. I can kind of see it. I just like the colors. I think it looks like a really nice set.
Are you sure it's not like off beige?
Yeah, off beige.
Off beige.
Yeah, it's off beige with off pink and off green, and yeah, all the off colors.
Yeah. Solid Snake Drive subs with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Mum.
And more people poking fun at my colorblindness. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and Boy314 actually says it looks like Hannah mixed with 9009. I kind of get that.
Okay.
That's probably a really good way of explaining it. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the kind of green going on reminds me of the Matcha kit from Hana a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, let's move on to some more green going on here. Lots of green coming in with an interest check called GMK Tactical Set by Zombuman, and this is green, guys.
It's not really green.
It's not really green?
No.
Really? That's not green?
No.
Alright, fair enough. Brown?
Yeah, it's kind of browny beige colour. I can't tell if you just mean or if you can't tell the colour.
Well, it's I don't exactly hide my color blindness. It's brought up probably every other episode, so
yeah,
there you go. It's Quakeum's green. Easy. There we go.
Quakeum's green. Nice. Yeah. Okay. It's Quakeum's green, or for everyone else in the world, it's kind of like a tan, beigey brown color. Yeah.
Sand. Someone says.
Yeah, sand's a good way of describing it. Actually. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. So pretty cut and dry set here from Zombuman. Yep. He's got some renders. He's got the breakdown kit here. All pretty simple. Not the most compatibility ever, but his kind of style nowadays is to try to keep the key count down with the core sets, the basic sets, just try to keep the prices a little bit more reasonable. And he has I read through this earlier. This is a lovely FAQ because I love how matter of fact Zombuman is when he talks. I know English is not his first language, but he's very good at English. So he's still very, very matter of fact on this, and it's kind of hilarious to read through if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, it's very tongue-in-cheek, yeah.
Yeah. Any ISO available? If 100 people complain about it, I'll think about it. Like, what? More renders, please? Him own first. Hiragana? No. I guess. I love it. I love it. Absolutely hilarious. People are asking for the link.
Yeah, I did paste it in there, I think.
I think we forgot this one.
Put it in again. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, so do you know what, I kind of like this layer, this look. I think his Cerakote inspired look is quite interesting. I think it looks good. Yeah, I don't dislike it. I think it'll do well. I know when reading through the chat earlier on, some people have been suggesting some alternate colours for modifiers and things like that. So I think he's going to have a few renders drawn up to try and see what they look like. So yeah, I think it's one to watch as well. Yep. But again, Zambon knocking out the park as he always does.
Yep, absolutely. So he does say he has not contacted any vendor, so he has not made a final decision yet, but he does say it won't be on Mass Drop. So, interesting. He just automatically rules out Mass Drop. Which, just something to think about. I wonder if there might be more reasoning or backstory going on there, but interesting either way.
I suspect it's just Mass Drop of full with key sets. Maybe it could be that, because I know he's got quite a few that he's running through them, and Living Speed Bump we already talked about earlier on. He's got some sets running, and everyone else has as well. So it could just be the pipeline for Mass Drops quite stacked.
Yeah, well, I think with all the key sets running nowadays, I think everyone's pipeline is pretty much stacked with key sets and group buys. Every vendor is brimming nowadays with group buys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The community is growing, and the market for that is getting bigger. So yeah.
Yep. So this is an interest check. So make sure to show interest if this is something you are interested in. A group buy probably coming in the very near future.
Yep. Maybe we should ask Zambu to rename it GMK Quakeham's Green.
Aha. You're funny. Tell us a little bit about our last news topic, Jay.
I need to open it, actually.
I'm trying to find the interesting thing about this group buy. Maybe you know something about it that I don't.
No, it's just a standard group buy for GMK Screw and Stabilisers. So it's primarily aimed at the EU, and now we've got a bit more of an EU contingent watching Top Clack. I thought it would be interesting to add this in. So Mechboard, which is a UK vendor, are just running a small group buy for GMK Screw and Stabs. They are looking to find a US proxy as well, to just try and get the prices down and get the good products into people's hands.
Yep, awesome. Quick and easy. I like it.
Yeah, nice and easy to cover is that one.
All right. Speaking of quick and easy, just kidding. I'm not going to go to that joke. But we do have some awesome sponsors for Top Clack, as usual. So starting us out, we have Kono.store, if I can talk correctly, which is where Input Club will distribute and sell some of their stuff. And we have lots of things going on. So we still have the Kira keyboard in stock. That has been for a while now. I think most people's orders have shipped out as far as the group buy portion of it. I know a lot of people were kind of unhappy that they had some in stock while group buys were still shipping. But I think those are pretty much all out now, if I'm not mistaken. White Foxes and Night Foxes still in stock. They got the Ergo Dox Infinity. And of course they have the what I call a K-type killer in the Gemini Dusk and Dawn. It's that $140 kind of hot swap RGB aluminum with PBT keycaps and all that good stuff. So yeah, make sure you get in on some of that goodness.
Absolutely. Okay. And moving on to our second sponsor, we've got Z Frontier, or Z Frontier as we say in the EU. They've got still the, I'm going to mess this name up again like you did last week, Brian, but the Morgri Re, 60% wireless board with matching numpad and switch tester as well, which is a really exciting proposition, and I quite like the look of this. They've also still got the JTK triple shots, or they did earlier on when I was looking at the site. So if you are interested in triple shots, I know we talked about the other set that might be coming with triple shots. These are the only other ones on the market at the moment, so if you're interested in those, feel free to pick them up. And as well, they've also got the Aurora 96, which is a 96 keyboard that's running at the moment as well, which is a really good hot swappable RGB and fully programmable aluminium board.
Yep. So someone needs to tell us how to say this, so we don't just keep butchering it. Because I honestly have no idea how that's supposed to be pronounced. It'd be interesting to find out. People are asking for links for sponsors.
Yeah, we never put the links in for sponsors. Never have done before. I'll put them in
there. Yeah, go ahead. Still need to do Konos as well. Might as well just put them all in there right now anyways. So next up we have novelkeys.xyz, who's running a bunch of different things. GMK Bento, like we talked about earlier, as well as the Keywork Nano Bento edition, if that's more your thing. He also just recently got in the iSwitch desk pad group buy going on. He's got a couple different versions of that if you're really into the whole Apple, vintage Apple kind of aesthetic. He recently launched the Kale Box Pinks as well, which I'm going to be picking up some this month, probably next month actually, February, so I can test those out because those seem pretty darn interesting. And of course, he still has the glow-in-the-dark switches, which we talked about not too long ago, which are pretty interesting, if I do say so myself. The Linear group buy for that kind of IKEA color. I guess that's easier. That's the way that more people would probably know it. But it's the Swedish the Swedish colors there, which is pretty nice. That group buy is at non-profit, so pretty easy, cheap, linear to get into. Only 36 cents each. Pretty darn affordable. And of course, he still has the H87As, those PCBs by Heine Bush. Only $50 for one of these QMK powered bad boys. And make sure while you're shopping at Novel Keys, no matter if you're buying things or you're running group buys, use the promo code NEWCLACK. That's what it is this month. It'll probably change tomorrow. I would imagine.
Due to change soon. Yeah.
I think we change it the beginning of every month now. So right now it is NEWCLACK. That's 2 words. But we'll let you guys know in the Discord what February's code is that you can use for us, and that'll get you 5% off your entire order.
Yep. So check out for those announcements when we put them up on the Discord.
Heck yeah.
Okay, and moving on to our last but not least sponsor, we've got Zeal Generation, Zeal PC. So for your Felios, you can buy your Zelios and your V2 Zelios, your Silence and your Helios as well. There's also all of the PCBs that Zeal produces, so the 60 and the 65 on there too. And we are now in the last couple of weeks for the Zeno group buy, so that ends on the 15th of February, so we're into the last 2-week period of that just about now. So if you do want to pick up a Zeno, you are running out of time, but that's a really nice 75% designed by Pona, which comes with either a full or a half plate in all of the lovely colours, PVD, brass. It's a really, really good looking board, absolutely fantastic looking, and there's some new renders on there as well if you want to check those out, guys, including Hamon as the key set in focus. So yeah, do check that out. And if you do want to, and you want to support Top Clack, feel free to use our Zeal PC affiliate link, which I'm just going to post into the chat now, which is just zealpc.net/TopClack. That gives us a small kickback if you do want to support the show.
Yep, absolutely. And like Jay had just mentioned, there are brand new renders up for the Zeno before it ends, so you can check those out. And one fun fact that I kind of noted was the renders that he has with GMK Hamon are on a Zeno color that isn't even available, which I thought that was pretty cheeky, man. Because I probably would have gotten gray. That was an option, honestly. But either way, awesome looking board, ends on the 15th, and like Zeal is pointing out in chat right now, the Roselios, or what we're calling him. We talked about him last week on the show before that actually gone live, and that's the recolored Helio with that pink stem. But otherwise, it's just a Helio at group buy pricing. I don't know. Is it actually listed on the? I don't think it's actually listed here yet. It goes live tomorrow. It goes live February 1st, so pretty darn soon. I think it's got about 4.5 hours before that goes live. So if you want to get Helios, but you want the pink stem instead of the orange, and you want it at group buy pricing, that's going to be the time. Make sure you use zealpc.net/TopClack if you want to give us a little bit of a kickback. So
absolutely
good stuff there. Roselios. It's a pretty good name. I was actually the other day I was trying to think of what he would call them, because I knew he was going to rename them, because Helios doesn't make sense, because Helios is for that, Norse god of the sun or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So like he's going to name them something else. So I'm glad he settled on Roselios, because I couldn't come up with anything better than that.
Yeah, it's a really good name, and do you know what? I think the switches look great as well. That pink car, I'm definitely going to grab enough for a board and do a build. I think they run for 2 weeks, so they end around the 14th of February, I think, Seal. I don't know if you can confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. Oh, and he's just posted the link as well into chat as well, folks. If you want to check that out, it's not quite live yet, but the page is up on the site, so you can go and have a look.
Cool, nice. Just in time for Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, I have to say as well, the bubble wrap that he's got that on as well is absolutely lovely. The little shaped bubble wrap, that is such a cool little feature.
That is, that is such a Zeal touch that I think everyone else would have overlooked, except for maybe Rama. Rama might have done something like that too. But that's adorable. I've never seen heart-shaped bubble wrap before.
I didn't even know you could get bubble wrap that was shaped differently to just round circles. So yeah.
Man, I'm gonna have to get some of these, aren't I? Just for the bubble wrap, I'm gonna have to get some of these.
Zeal, do they come with the bubble wrap? Do they come with a little sample of the bubble wrap?
If they're not in that bubble wrap, I'm gonna be upset. Because that'll be half the reason I'm buying these.
Price, just a little bit of bubble wrap.
Yeah, pretty simple. The MOQ is at 20k, which is easily hittable for our community. That's not a problem at all.
Sure.
And it's gonna run from February 1st to the 14th. And production will start the day after, so easy.
I think the interest check got to something like 28,000 switches or something when I was last looking. It was quite high. It was well over the limits over the cubes.
Yeah, and now that they're actually officially on Zeal's site sanctioned, it's easy, smooth sailing from here.
Yeah, and just a final reminder, guys, if you do want to support us, there is that affiliate link again, which really does help out the show.
Yep, helps out a lot more than you guys think. All right, so now, as always, is a good time to move into our Q&A. We have no guest today, so Q&A is what's going to be happening now. So if you guys have questions, hopefully we have answers for you. Make sure to use the @TopClack tag so we can see them a little bit easier. Mountain Blocks donates 333 bits. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, man.
And wow, we actually made it through that news doc a little bit faster than I was expecting.
Yeah, I didn't expect us to be quite so quick. An hour and a half. We flew through. Yeah, and Talisman Solutions with the 1,111 bits to take second place on the bit counter away from Olivia, and that puts you within touching distance of Zeal as well. You're only a couple of hundred away from Zeal there to take first place, Talisman. And the Sweaty Yeti as well with some more bits there. I don't know how many that was, but
it's usually 50. It's 50, and then he'll donate 200 after that.
Yeah.
That's usually his kind of thing. Very nice.
And the Bizzle King as well has just subscribed with a tier 1 sub for 17 months in a row. So thank you very much, man. We really appreciate that.
Wow, 17 months. Pretty sure that's the maximum. Pretty sure.
Someone's going to come with 18 now. You know that.
I know. It happens every time. The Sweaty Yeti does follow up with those 200 bits. Thank you very, very much for that, guys. You guys are fantastic. Talisman says, hat tip and the difference and respect to the great, special, and one and only Olivia, who indirectly inspired me to contribute bits to Top Clack in the very first place. With a flaming heart. Very nice. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Talisman. We really appreciate the support, man. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Beadlocks is going to start us off with his first question. Thoughts on way switches? So I think he's referring to the T1 samples that you got.
Yeah, the Holy Ways. So I do have them here. I've got two different variants. I've got the clear housing and I've got the smoked housing as well. The stems are different colours, but they are the same. They're identical, the stems, apart from the colour. I think the beige ones I have, which you might have seen in the pictures I've posted, are just prototypes before Way decided to move to the teal coloured ones. Honestly, these switches feel very, very tactile. I did a bit of a write-up, which you can check out on the Top Clack website. They are really, really tactile. There's no pre-travel, but there's a really nice big round bump. They're quite smooth stock. I'd be quite happy to use them and break them in stock, but I think lube will definitely help them. But I haven't had a chance to play around with that as yet. I'll try and do that before I stream on Sunday, and I'll do a bit of a typing demo with them on Sunday as best as I can with 5 switches. So I think they're really good. I don't think they're a direct Holy Panda clone or anything like that, and that's for two reasons. One is the bump profile is very different to a Holy Panda, and secondly, the stem doesn't have that elongated part, which means you bottom out a little bit faster and have that really loud thock bottom out note. So I think these are closer to a Zelio V2 in terms of their market. I still prefer a Zelio V2 if I'm honest. These are maybe 90 to 95% of the way there, both in terms of tactility and smoothness. The only thing I would say that I have going in their favour is the springs seem really, really good. Now, the springs seem better in the smoky housing than they do in the clear housing, but the smoky switches that I've got have been desoldered, so I'm not sure if they've just been used a little bit more or how that is. So I'm going to play around with these a little bit more. I'm going to try and put them in a hotspot board, get them on stream on Sunday, do a bit of a sound test and typing test. I think in terms of looks, I prefer the smoky housing personally, but I'm excited to get a full batch of them to do a full build with, which I've got the clear ones coming. They should be here tomorrow, actually. So I might even do a build with them on Sunday if I get a chance.
Nice.
So yeah,
that would be awesome. Met Advice Guy asking, did any of us get into the milkshake group buy? Sadly, no. My milkshake does not bring any boys to the yard. But I do want to pick up some extras because I really, really do like DSA milkshake. I thought it was really, really underrated. And I think I think a lot of people are realizing that too now because, like, even in our Discord, I feel like every day in the Mech Market channel, it's just like, what to buy a DSA milkshake, what to buy a DSA milkshake. Like every day, there's several people looking to buy it. So definitely a nice looking set.
And straight classy with the 100 bits saying, "Notice me, senpai." Well, yeah, we've noticed you. Hey, man.
I noticed you, Kohai. I noticed you. Tectonic Plate 001 asking, brief thoughts on Arctos. I don't like him.
I concur.
It's a very interesting switch. They are pretty smooth. That is one thing I'll say. They are very smooth. The tactility is just really, really uninteresting, is what I'll say, just to try to be nice. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Box Browns or Box Burnt Orange, where the tactility is insanely sharp. It feels less like a bump and more like you just like broke down a door or something. I don't really know how to properly explain it, but it's certainly not what I like in a tactile switch.
No, and the other thing as well that I dislike about them is that although they come pre-lubed, they don't feel like a lubed switch. They feel quite scratchy, and I wasn't a fan of that feel either.
Yeah,
I think someone described them as sandy, and I kind of agree that they do feel like they've got sand in them. That's kind of how they feel, even though they're pre-lubed. So yeah.
Oh, interesting. To me, they actually feel quite smooth.
Oh, really?
It's just the tactility that feels really gross and jarring. But like the actual like travel actually feels pretty smooth to me in the ones that I'm holding here, at least. Okay. Well, okay. This one not so much. The first couple that I grabbed were alright. This one's pretty bad, actually.
They are hit and miss. There's a very big difference in range between the switches as well. So I think the heavier switches actually felt sandier than the lighter switches. So yeah, there we go.
Yep, those are our thoughts on Arctos. We are not big fans of them at the moment.
Yeah, sadly not. If anyone would like some Arctos switches, I have 150 of them. Please let me know.
So do I, apparently. So we might have some switches to just hand out if anyone wants them. Tonka 726 asking, how do Smokey feel with Halo stem?
So I have put a Halo stem in one, and it kind of feels like it does in a Zelio V2 housing, to be honest. It still feels tactile. It gives you that pre-travel back a little bit, but not as much as you get in a Panda switch. They feel okay. You get that bottom out clack. It's kind of a bit more high pitched than it is in a Holy Panda, due to the difference in the housing materials. I can do a sound typing test on Sunday if you catch a stream then.
Awesome. Boop Beep Bep, which is a great name, by the way.
It's a great name.
Says, holy cow, in Jay's room, bottom left shelf. Is that one keyboard? So he's looking at the Hyper 7. It's half of the
that's
Hyper 7.
Yeah, it's half of the Hyper 7. It's actually got another row that it's not in its case at the minute, so it's got another row that's not on there, or 3 rows of keycaps effectively go the full length of the board. So yeah,
that's a big one. Mad Advice Guy asking, what are our current daily driver boards?
My current daily driver is my JER, or J Mini, or as my EU friends have started calling it, the Germany, because it just sounds like you're saying that. So I built this on stream last week. I'm going to unplug from my PC so I can hold it up and show you. So it's kind of got the macro column on the side, and then it's a 65% board from there, with interestingly an off center weight design on the back. I absolutely love this board. It's fantastic. Comes in this pale white color. I think it's great. Yeah, I really like it.
I don't really have a daily driver. I swap pretty darn frequently, but at the moment I have the it's freaking heavy. I have the M60A round 1 in the dust color with that nice PVD weight on the back that has lots of fingerprints on it. Love that. And GMK Oblivion. That's what I'm using right now. I'm using it to break in some Yak Red Panda switches, so I can lube those and put those in something. Which, for the record, I've been breaking in really, really well. A lot of these are very smooth now, which is kind of surprising because Pandas previously were not really like that. Even after some break-in, they were still pretty bad. So, pretty interesting stuff there. Pretty low on questions this week, too. Wow. Which is surprising because we've actually had a lot of viewers throughout the entire stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you guys have any questions before we head out, get those in now at Top Clack. Helps us see them. Yeah, I think we had one that I missed.
I'm just scrolling back through to see if we have missed any. Someone actually tagged you and said at Quakums you should check out these glasses. They can help correct some color blindness types, and is linked to the Enchroma glasses.
You know, I've had a couple people link me that before, but I haven't actually tried it. Maybe I should save that.
Yeah, you should try and get hold of a pair and
we'll see how that works. Muffin Smasher asking, Rama TKL win. We are not the right people to ask that question.
Ask Rama.
Ask Rama.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
You probably won't really get an answer from either of them, though. It'll probably just be more like soon TM.
Yeah, probably.
Mad Advice Guy asking, any preference in regards to keyboard colors? Not really. I don't really care too much.
No.
I like pairing boring colors with flashy caps, or vice versa. I like pairing flashy boards with boring colored caps.
Yeah, I think the only color I don't really tend to go for on a board is black. I only have a couple of black boards, but yeah, anything goes in terms of keyboard colors. Whatever looks good with a matching set or with a contrasting set is good by me. Yeah. I
am not too picky.
Luna Sama with "Can You Be My Parents?"
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
We could do that. Let's take the next step, Jay.
Okay. Yeah. Get the adoption papers ready. Yeah. Sure. Why not? I guess we're doing this now.
Wow. All right.
I'll go break the news to my wife that I'm leaving her for you, Brian. But
she'll probably understand. Boot Beep is asking, how long does it usually take to break in switches? It's kind of a hard question. I think it's on a switch by switch basis. Like, for instance, I don't break in most Zeal switches because I feel like there's little point. They're already about as smooth as they're going to get pre-lube.
Yeah.
But as far as things like retooled Cherry MX Blacks or, for instance, these Yak Red Pandas, I like to give a solid 2 weeks on or so before you notice like some real difference there. Some might take a couple days, some might take a week, some might take 2 or 3 weeks. Hard to know. Depends on how bad the switch is and how well it takes to being broken in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other thing as well is it's best to rotate the switches. If you've got a hot swap board, you put the switches in, you'll find that you use some switches more often than others, so I would swap out your mods and your alphas and change them around a little bit. So just make sure you get an even usage across them.
Yep, that's a great tip. Geo saying, Seattle better still happen, Jay. Are you flying out to where I am for July?
Yeah, it all depends on finances and timing. I want to do it, so it's definitely on the wants list. It's all just going to depend on the finances. That's going to be the big blocker there, I think.
All right. Sind is asking thoughts on SA Danger Zone ending soon on Mass Drop. We talked about that last week, if I'm not mistaken. And
yeah, we did. Yeah.
It's all right. It's a set that's run before. It's seen its fair share of popularity. It's all right.
I like the set.
I really like the Wingman kit.
Yes, some of the novelties.
The text novelties are unbelievably good. The rest of the set, as far as the colors, I don't. It's all right. I don't care too much about it. Met Advice guy asking. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I really like the set. I've got the original round 1 Danger Zone set, so I'm not going to pick up round 2 because I've got that. But this one is sculpted, whereas the original was just all R3.
Matt Advice guy asking best 40% board. I don't know. I don't really use 40%, so I don't
know. So I've got 2 answers to this. I've got one in terms of look, design, and feel, which is the Pearl, and then I've got one on actual usability, which is the Mech Mini 2.
Mech Mini 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Is the TMO50 a 40% board? I'm not really sure. Exactly what a 40% board is, because there's a lot less standardization when it comes to anything below 60%.
I think it classes as a 50% board. I genuinely do. It's just got that extra column on there as well.
I guess, but it's like a Plonk, for instance, has 48 keys. How many keys does something like a minivan have, or a Mech Mini, or the Pearl, for instance? Like, are those sub 40% boards because they don't have 48 keys? Because a Plonk is still considered a 40%, but it has 48 keys. Yeah. It has more keys than most other 40%s. It probably has more keys than the TMO, actually. So...
yeah, well, that's the question to the community then, isn't it? Do you class 40% on the format or the number of keys?
Yeah, exactly. He also follows up and says, and what 40% board are you looking forward to? I don't think I have really any in my immediate radar.
No, I was kind of looking forward to the Prelude, but I don't think that's running now. I think that's been cancelled. Group buy for that being cancelled, I think. So I don't think there's any others on my horizon, unless we count the TMO 50 as a 40%, in which case I'm all over one if I get the chance. So, yeah.
Interesting question coming from Melodit. Of the two of us, who is the fastest typer?
Fastest
typist. Am I? I'm pretty slow.
Yeah. I'm about 60, 65, something like that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm like around 80, and if I'm really in the zone, I'm upwards of 100.
Yeah, I've never broken the 100 barrier. Never broken it. So yeah, you're faster than I am at typing.
I also don't touch type entirely. So like if I'm actually doing a typing test, I'm often around like 60 to 70. But if I'm able to look every now and then when I need to, I'm 80 to 100.
Okay, interesting. Jay Shuff with the question, Hyper 7 R3. Yeah, so Mechboards have reached out to me in the UK and asked if there's potential for them to run the PCB that Yankar and I designed together and the plate files. So as far as I know, yes, it is going to happen. I'm happy for them to run it. I just genuinely don't have the time or commitment at the minute myself with Top Clack and real life stuff as well. So yeah, it looks like it's going to happen. No dates or times yet, but yeah, Hyper 7 R3 should be announced soon. Watch this space.
Very, very nice. Talisman Solution says, you guys provided extra coverage of the news this week. Yeah, there was a lot of news this week, so we had to go hard. We had to go hard. Mr. Petrov asking, what do we think of the phosphorus enamel writing on the back of the M60 Sequence 2?
Looks dope.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Yeah, I think it's I don't really understand what it means. Because there's like...
When it looks that good, does it matter what it means?
No, but it's still interesting. Oh my god, I have so much trouble navigating this site too sometimes.
Don't tell Rama that.
Yeah, I think it's just more me being stupid. Okay, so it says M100 A600 150050. What is that?
I don't know, but it looks good, so I'm happy.
It looks really cool. It looks amazing, but I don't know what it means. But it does look cool. Gizmoplex asking, any plan for a build after the show? Not today.
No.
I will be build streaming tomorrow, Friday, sometime at night, probably around top Clack time, 5, 6, 7 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be doing a polycarbonate Singa, and situation depending, I might be doing the TM050 as well. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm definitely planning on streaming tomorrow. Then I think Jay has one going on Sunday, as he usually does.
Yes. Yeah. So on Sunday, I'm building a 60 XT, which is a prototype by Pingu from the EU community. I haven't decided on switches yet. Send me some switches to put in it, but I might not go with those. I might put the Actos in them actually, and then send it back to him.
Wow. Do you hate the
guy? No, he'd probably find it funny if I did that. I hope he's watching. If he is, I'm going to wave to him. So I'm going to build that on Sunday. So that's a bit of a prototype board. So have a look at that, see how it fits together, and we'll also have a quick look at the Holyway T1 switches as well in a hot swap build, and I'll try and do a bit of a sound test as well. So that'll be on Sunday, 8 p.m. UK time, which is about 12 noon PST, I think, something like that.
Yep, very, very cool. I am Erus asks, this is probably a better question for you. What makes a good custom cable with LEMO connectors, or LEMO? I'm not sure what it is.
I think the same. LEMO, yeah. So I get all of mine from Cable Car Designs. I'm using one right now, and then I've just had him make up a new one so I can have new ends put on it. So you can see the connector there, one half of it, and I've got the ends, so I can just quickly switch from USB-C to USB Mini to USB Micro to whatever I need. So that's all from Cable Car Designs. Now he's an EU vendor, so I don't know where they're actually based in the world, but there are other vendors in the US. So I'm sure the guys in the chat can tell you more about the US vendors if you're in that side of the world.
Nice. Mountain Block's asking, how's the Steno build going? So just very brief backstory on what he's referring to. So last week we covered the Gregory, I think is what it was called, which was a very kind of simple custom steno board, a board for stenography. Very few keys, very different style method of typing. And we covered that, and a few people in chat were saying they donate quite a bit of bits. There was a lot of people saying they donate, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 bits. If I would learn to type 200 words per minute on steno in like 24 hours, which, by the way, is not possible. Not even people go to stenography school for a year, 2 years, before they even get to 200 words per minute, and they're still not ready to be like in a courtroom to actually put that in use. So there's no way I could learn it in 24 hours. Like, that's not how this is going to work, guys. So that's we don't really know what's going on there. But either way, the guy that actually is doing the Gregory, he messaged me after the show and said, "Hey, would you like me to send you one of these?" And I was like, "We'll make something happen. Sure, we'll do something." So I'm pretty sure he's sending me one. So we'll see what happens. I mean, worst case scenario, we still do a fun stream. Maybe we include it in the 24-hour stream where I try to learn steno and I try to figure it out or something, and I build up the board, whatever. Like it can be fun either way.
Yeah, we'll sort something out. But there's definitely a couple of ways we could do that. We could even do like a commentated build while you're building it and I'm commentating on it or something like that, and trying to put you off a little bit. There's lots of things we could do.
Yeah, there's lots of things that we can do. It would be fun. Talisman asking upcoming build streams. We pretty much covered that a couple moments ago.
Just in terms of longer term stuff, I've got an Exempt build coming up, 2 duck boards, and a Keycap number 160 as well. So yeah, a couple more coming in the next couple of weeks.
Yep, and I have the Polycarb Singa, the TM050, and then I will be doing a full rebuild on a Duck Viper V2.
Ooh, and nice.
And then I also have a TGR 910 in the nearest feature, but it actually might be a Q, the KYU.
Okay.
It might be one of those instead. The person I'm building for hasn't quite decided yet, but So I have a few things going on as well. The Sweaty Yeti donates another 250 bits. Thank you very much for that, my friend.
Indeed, we appreciate your support, man.
Talisman with another question asks, is there a quote-unquote suggestion box for the 24-hour stream post in Discord? There isn't, but that's a good idea.
We should set one up, yeah.
Yeah, we should do that. Thank you for that. Yeah, we can definitely get something like that going.
Yeah, we'll get a form or something up over the weekend. Yeah, I'll pick something up on that, Talisman.
Yeah, Jay and I still have quite a bit to discuss on it. We need to do a date. We find some fun activities. I definitely want to do some kind of giveaways, maybe some donation incentives. Because if we do like a charity stream or something, we can maybe have like a donation bar.
Really good fun.
Maybe like donate to QMK or like some nonprofit in the community or something would be pretty cool. And we can figure that out. We'll have a little schedule. It'll be fun. It'll be really fun. But yeah, we'll definitely get a suggestion box up for that as well. Good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and Gideon89 with the sub. Thank you very much, dude. Really appreciate it, man.
Heck yeah. Met Advice Guy asking, what group buy have you entered that you were looking forward to the most? Group buys am I in right now? I'm in the Southpaw full size, the Leaf 60, and a couple private group buys that I can't talk about.
Yeah, there's
so
private ones.
Southpaw full size and Leaf 60 are what I'm looking forward to. Definitely. I'm definitely aiming to join the Zeno before it closes, or Zeno. I don't know how it's actually supposed to be pronounced. But I'll definitely be joining that, so I'm looking forward to that as well. I wanted to join the G60, which also, fun fact, got extended until February 15th as well. So if funds permit, I might join that as well.
Interestingly, it's also had a gasket mount option added to it as well, although I'm not sure I understand how it works, because it looks like there's nothing for the gasket to rest on in the bottom of the case. But Scott has added a gasket option. I saw that on Instagram the other day. So yeah. In terms of myself, what am I most looking forward to? Like Brian, there's a couple that I can't talk about, but the one I'm probably most looking forward to is I should get my Ocelot tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. That's the little macro pad from Elaine, who runs a Singer website, and also the TGR Singer Unicorn as well. I'm really looking forward to getting that board in the next couple of months.
Heck yes. All right. Racing Giraffe with a pretty interesting question, actually. What is the most overrated key set? Most overrated key set. GMK Carbon.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. I think any of the Carbons, I think the SA one as well is a little bit overrated in my view as well. Not that I dislike them, I just think there's too much community focus on them. And
there's a distinction between overrated and good, bad, how much you like something. There's
for sure.
Big difference there. You can love overrated stuff or you can hate it, and you're not right or wrong either way. So,
absolutely.
I like SA Carbon a lot. GMK Carbon, really, really think it's pretty overrated. I would say GMK Plum is also kind of overrated, but that set isn't really as popular as it was during the group buy phase, when everyone was like losing their minds about how amazing it was, and then everyone got it, and then like people are selling it for like $90 now.
Yeah, but do you know what I really like the key set? I know it's not what was advertised, but I actually like the end result, weirdly. So yeah, like the same with Solarized Dark as well. And whilst I didn't come out anything like the renders, I actually really, really like how the key set turned out in the end. So
same.
I think Carbon's a good shout for the most overrated key set, although it's not bad by any means.
How about this hot take? Every key set is overrated.
Oof, yeah, there we go. Easy answer. Yeah, nice. I like that. Yeah.
Hot take. All right.
I think if I was to pick one, I'd think SA 1976 for me. I think whilst it's lovely, I do think it is a little bit overrated, or it certainly was at the time it was running, or just after.
All right. Mad Vice Guy says, Jay, you better also go to the Copenhagen meetup.
Okay, I'll see what I can do, man. I filled in your interest check for the Copenhagen meetup. I will try and get there. It's probably a little bit more achievable than Seattle, but we'll see.
Yeah, and on that note, Talisman says, posting a contributions link for Jay's travel to Seattle. Maybe we can maybe work this out. We'll see what happens. International travel is expensive.
It is. I need to price it up, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's
like, for me to get like anywhere outside the US, it costs like $1,100. Just the plane ticket. Like,
I'll have a look, and we might do something on that front, Talisman. We'll see. We'll see. It depends entirely on how expensive it's going to be. But I'll price something up, and we'll talk about it in a stream in the near future.
Yep. Iamaru asks, what is your favorite custom key finish, i.e. Anno, Cerakote, PVD, E-Coat, etc.? I'm not picky. As long as it's not micro arc oxidation, I am totally cool with all the other options.
Yeah, I'd probably second that. I think if I had to pick one, I'm really liking this E white, so the E coating on the white that I've got on the JER Mini. That's really, really nice. And Cerakote looks great as well and feels great, but I don't prefer that over anodization as long as it's done well. I'm more bothered about how well it's achieved rather than picking one over the other. As long as the finish is good, then I'm happy with it.
Racing Draft says, if you're serious about getting rid of those Arcto switches, I'd take them off your hands. Were these... Wait, did we get these as like a review sample? Or did we actually pay for these?
No, they were review samples.
Okay, so we should probably give them away then.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
So if someone from the EU wants them, then just let me know and I will send you some.
Yeah, I'll give mine out in the US. You can give yours out on your side of the planet.
Cool.
Mountain Blocks doesn't say anything, but he doesn't ask anything, but he says Coily Boys. I just wanted to say that again.
Coily Boys.
Coily Boys.
Coily Boys.
This is just fun to say. Speaking of boys, Ballin' Boys asks, do you have any particular method/shortcut for efficiently breaking in switches? Consciously trying to break in switches is quite excruciating. Jay actually brought up a really good tip earlier about how you don't necessarily use all the same keys the exact same amount. So when you're breaking them in, you might have, let's say, some of your alphas well broken in, but maybe some of your mods aren't. So maybe like after a week or so, swap those keys around. And that way the keys that haven't gotten as much love now get the most love. And that way you can try to get a little bit more of a equal thing. Because if a switch is evenly broken in... If switches are evenly broken in before you lube them, they're going to be just as even after you lube them. Because if you lube switches consistently and evenly, the ones that were inconsistent beforehand are still going to be inconsistent after the lube.
Yeah. So you want to make sure all your switches are rotated and feel the same. Yeah. The more accurate you can get them in the breaking in process, as Brian says, the more accurate your lube job's going to be, and the more even the board's going to feel when it's finished. Just on that as well, I'm actually chatting with Rumai, who's in the Discord, about building a little robot that would break in switches for us. So I've actually 3D printed a test version of this, but it's basically a piston and a motor that would have a plate that would actuate all of the keys on a PCB. I'm trying to automate it, but it's just really, really slow is the motor that I've got at the moment. So if that comes off, I'll share the files and people can build their own little robots to break in switches.
That is so wild. But like, I think the community I need one of those. I need something that breaks them in.
Yeah. It's also loud as hell, so I have to run it in the garage, which is not ideal, but yeah.
Oh, man. Boy314 asking, how do I fix chatter on a hot swap board? So there might be a couple reasons, but generally in my experience, when you have chatter, it's because the tolerances between the two parts of the leaf are a little bit too close together, so they're too easy to actuate. So if you guys aren't familiar with what chatter is, usually chatter is kind of a vague term to display that more inputs are being sensed by the keyboard than there should be. Yep. So like, let's say you press a key once and it actuates 2 or 3 inputs. Or maybe you just barely graze the surface of your keycap, but it actuates the key, even though you didn't really press it. That's generally what chatter is defined as. So usually what I would do, I had to do this actually on a lot of like round 1 Zelios, because that was a really big issue on round 1 Zelios. You open the switch, and there's 2 parts of a leaf. There's more of a square part that's a little bit closer to the middle, and then there's the thinner part that's a little bit closer to the outside of the housing. And when you actuate the switch, those two touch and create the current. So what you want to do is the square part of the switch that's closer to the center pole in the middle of the switch, you bend that just ever so slightly more towards the middle pole of the switch, so that way it's not quite as close to their leaf. It's actually kind of hard to do, and if you move it even a little bit, it might not feel like you moved it at all. So usually what you want to do is you want to move it a little bit, even if you don't think you did, test it. If it didn't work, try it again. That has solved every chattering issue I've ever had on a key switch. So hopefully that'll work for you. I think sometimes it can actually not be the fault of the switches, but I'm not really an expert in that particular field of it.
Yeah, I've had it before where I've just had to reflow the actual hot swap connector itself on the bottom of the PCB by heating it up, and that's fixed it. But yeah, I think it's more likely to be in the switch than it is to be anywhere else, to be honest with you. And just a bit of clarity earlier on as well, I said that Gideon had subscribed, but it was actually a gifted sub from Jay Shuff. So apologies, Jay Shuff. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for gifting that tier 1 sub. We really appreciate that, dude. And well done to Gideon. Thank you.
And on that same vein, Talisman just gifts a tier 1 sub to Boy314, and now they are up to 30 gift subs in the channel. So thank you very much for that. That is fantastic. And Clack also just subbed with a tier 1 sub. So thank you for all the subs and bits today, guys. You guys have been incredibly wonderful today.
Yeah, thank you for the support, guys. We genuinely really appreciate it. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's really amazing to see.
GMK asks, what color Zeno am I aiming for? Because I was talking about getting one. I'm not 100% sure yet. I really want to put that rose gold PVD to work. So I think I might go for silver or black. Thankfully or unthankfully, there are only 3 color options for the case. So it's black, silver, and purple. And I don't really want the purple, even though I like it. But I really want to get the rose gold PVD, so I think I'll probably default to purple or not purple, but silver or black.
Okay.
And we are caught up on questions, so with that's probably as good a time as ever to head out here. We just cracked the 2-hour mark, so let's not have another 3-hour main show here.
3-hour stream, yeah.
So awesome. So thank you guys very much for watching. We definitely appreciate it. Next week, we'll be back, same time, same place, with the main show like we're doing today. Tomorrow, I will be build streaming somewhere around 5, 6, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Of course, I'll post beforehand in the Discord and on Reddit. So make sure to check that out if you guys want to watch me build some keyboards. Jay, streaming on Sunday.
I'll be here on Sunday, at 8 p.m. UK time, which is about 12 noon Pacific time. So be there if you want to see the 60XT being built, a prototype board. So I'm excited to take a look at that and show you guys the intricacies of it and get the build done. So feel free to come and check that out.
Awesome. So you guys know the drill, guys. Below the stream, there's a link to our YouTube channel, which you can check out. We post all the VODs there, of course, along with some other content, typing tests, things of that nature. A Discord link for our official Discord server down there as well. Join it. Come talk to us, chat with us, hang out with us. There's something for everyone there. Maybe play some games with us, etc.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good stuff. And
Don't forget, we've also got the Top Clack website as well with the new T1 review by myself and initial first thoughts on the switches. Feel free to check it out wherever you can.
Yep. Heck yeah. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night, and we will catch you soon, hopefully tomorrow, with me building keyboards.
See you guys.